Good evening, it's 5:15. This Carroll City Council meeting will come to session. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all very much. The roll call today will show that everyone is here except for Laverne Dirks. We'll move on to the consent agenda, which includes the approval of minutes of the August 26, 24 meeting, approval of bills and claims, licenses and permits, there were none. The 8th amended and restated urban renewal plan, which is the resolution authorizing advancement of costs for an urban renewal project and certification of expenses incurred by the city for payment under Iowa Code Section 403.19. It also includes the US 30 traffic signal improvements for 2024 supplemental agreement for additional services number 1. Is there any discussion? Will there be a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Jason and Tom. Roll call vote, please.
Carroll.
Yes.
Atherton.
Yes.
Bauer.
Yes.
Seaman.
Yes.
Shrek.
Yes.
Motion is approved.
All right, are there any oral requests from anyone in the audience tonight to speak about anything that is not on the agenda this evening? You have 5 minutes.
I would like to.
Sure, come on up. Let's have your name.
Marcy Warman from Carroll.
All right, and
Just
go ahead, 5
checking
minutes.
to see what's taking so long for the city council members to get together with the board of supervisors on the E28 agreement.
I don't know that it will, I don't feel like it's taking that long. We just received a message from them.
A month
to
ago.
Meet with them, but
It's
is
been
there a
a-
rush for,
No, but, I mean, we just don't want it to go by the wayside and forget
it's
about
not
it.
being forgotten, I can
Okay.
assure you of that.
Okay,
In fact, we'll be discussing it later in the meeting.
Okay.
We'll talk a little bit about what has gone on.
all right, thank
Okay?
you.
All right, thank you. Moving on to ordinance. First ordinance is the Echo Urban Renewal Plan, second reading. And Aaron.
Yes, as we introduced the urban renewal plan this last council meeting, the ordinance, we approved the first reading. Since then, we have not received any correspondence from anyone regarding the urban renewal plan, so we would recommend approving the second, if council wished, waive the third, and approval of the ordinance.
So moved. Second.
All right, we'll go with Jason and Tom seconded.
Kyle tried to get in there, but.
This is to approve the second and waive the third reading, right?
That's what
Yeah.
I understood
Okay.
you to mean, right? Yes, okay.
Got it.
A roll call vote, please.
Seaman.
Yes.
Bauer.
Yes.
Bornero.
Yes.
Atherton.
Yes.
Shrek.
Yes.
Motion is approved.
Do we have to put the ordinance in place since we?
Yes.
Right.
So,
And now I need a motion to put the ordinance in place, as you said.
So moved.
That's Tom and JJ, seconded. Roll call vote, please.
Atherton.
Yes.
Seaman.
Yes.
Bauer.
Yes.
Shrek.
Yes.
Bornero.
Yes.
Ordinance is adopted.
All right, we'll move on to resolutions. First one is from Laura, not to exceed $1.655 million general obligation urban renewal capital loan note CBD street resurfacing US 30 traffic signals project.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Before you tonight is starting the process to issue some debt for this project. We talked a little bit about these two projects at the last council meeting. Now, this is the actual starting of that process to issue the debt by setting a public hearing for our next council meeting. If you'll recall, we're issuing debt not to exceed the $1,655,000 for the Central Business District Street Resurfacing Project, as well as for design services for the US 30 traffic signals project. There is a new requirement that went into effect per state code in the notice of the public hearing, that it's a part of what will be in the newspaper. The requirement is for whenever you issue debt, you have to include an estimate of the annual increase in property taxes as a result of that issuance on the residential property, of a residential property that had an actual value of $100,000. The city worked with PFM Advisors, our financing company, to estimate that annual tax impact, and what they have been doing and working with their other clients on how to figure out that dollar amount. They typically do level debt service payments over 20 years, even though this debt issuance is actually going to be planned for a 2-year repayment. And this requirement does not take into account if you are using other funding sources to pay for this, as opposed to a tax or a debt levy. In the case of this debt issuance, we are planning on using TIF collections to pay for it, so it will not have an impact on our debt service levy. And it is also, when you come up with this dollar amount for the impact that goes into the public hearing notice, it does not take into account, like, if you are structuring your debt such that you have debt coming off, or what you're doing with your debt service levy. So it's really kind of unique, I guess, or hard to put an actual impact, because each community is gonna be very different in their impact on that dollar amount. But this was the most straightforward way, is to say, if you issue debt for 20 years and you have a home valued at 100,000, this could be the impact, though in our case, it will not be the impact on this particular debt issuance. So, anyway, just wanted to bring you that forward, because that is a new requirement.
What was that number?
So that it's $10.36.
Okay.
But what for tonight is to set that public hearing, and then the city clerk to go ahead and publish that notice in the newspaper, and the public hearing will be held next council meeting, and then there's a few other steps that occur after that to actually issue the debt. We're planning on closing on this right at the end of November.
Any questions? Any more? I'd look for a motion to approve, to set a hearing date for September 23rd, for 2024 for the public hearing. For a motion?
So moved.
JJ moved,
Second.
and,
Whatever.
let's see, I think I heard.
Carolyn?
Carolyn? Okay. Roll call vote, please.
Bauer,
Yes.
Atherton.
Yes.
Cordero.
Yes.
Seaman.
Yes.
Shrek.
Yes.
Resolution's approved.
All right, thank you. The next resolution is Can Play Curriculum and Branding Licensing Agreement, and Chad.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor and Council. The Carroll Parks and Recreation Department has been approached by several families in the local community trying to provide extra opportunities for children with special needs, many of who are here tonight. One family inquired about a nonprofit out of Des Moines called Can Play. Can Play was founded 13 years ago by Melissa Clark Worf for her son and so many like him living with special needs. Can Play has developed a comprehensive, adapted program to meet the needs of all ages and abilities. They currently have 4 activity curriculums: soccer, basketball, diamond ball, and are currently developing flag football and floor hockey for the future, and plan to continue to grow. Can Play currently has partnerships with park and rec agencies in Solon, Des Moines, Waukee, Iowa City, and Red Oak. Staff reach out to several of these agencies with nothing but very positive feedback. Carroll Park and Rec, while partnering with Can Play, can now get fully trained and all access pass to proven curriculum to allow us to fill a major void need in our community. I can turn it over to Melissa for a little more on Can Play and her side.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody, and thank you for this opportunity. And I have Tiffany Barlow from our staff here as well beside me. Can Play, as stated, is about 13 years old now, and really, I started it because I have a son that had 6 strokes when he was 8 years old, and changed his life and our life as a family. But what really astounded me was how many kids were affected just in our community alone, and not only in our community, but across the state. So over the last few years, through what we've learned and done with our programming, we felt like putting together a licensing opportunity to teach other park and recs or community centers to do our adapted programs. This includes a full training for the staff, which we have 6 videos that we talk about managing behaviors potentially with the different abilities you might see, seen beyond the diagnosis, as well as comprehensive video training focusing on the adaptations for each activity we offer through those initial sports that we're starting with. We do groupings of the kids by their abilities. And it's one thing I really want to focus on is that it's for all abilities. So whether somebody may present with a physical, cognitive, or emotional challenge, we have adaptations for all those different abilities within our program. Also, we have a portal that will be accessible for our sites, and that portal is actually going live this week. But in there, we'll house all of our curriculum, training modules, marketing materials, and any other information a site might need for support, as well as we may be a couple of hours away, but we are here and want this to be a great addition to communities, especially like Carroll. And there's been families that have reached out to me from that area about doing programming over the last few years. And I know there's a great need, and it's even beyond Carroll city limits. I know that there would be families that would be accessing this as well. I'll open it up to any questions.
Anything that we have to ask her today?
Age groups? What ages does it span?
Did you catch that? Was it?
For age groups?
Right.
Yep, it's for all ages. All of our programming transcends across all ages. We say from about age 6, we go to 66 or 70. We do have a preschool program that we're finalizing, so we can get those early formative years from like 3 to 5-year-olds, and that should be out in the next year or so. But we provide different ways and ideas how to structure the programming for the age groups within our materials as well, to help sites organize and have an effective program.
Thank you.
I got kind of an internal question, so we go with this, how quick, Chad, can we see these sports implemented?
Discussing with
into our
staff, we're
area?
really hoping that this winter we can start our basketball program.
Okay.
I think fall might be a little late in kind of pushing it to try and get any sort of outdoor soccer or really a soccer implemented, but I think December, January would be a good time to try and get indoor basketball.
Okay.
And what about any equipment needs? You may not even know yet what we would need to.
We discussed that a little bit on our original phone call. It sounds like we might have just about everything we need already through all the other sports we offer. So if there are, I don't believe there would be any large equipment purchases with it.
And then is one person to get trained in this, or is?
We're gonna have several staff
Okay.
trained.
Okay.
Yep. Because, Melissa's, obviously me being new to this, a lot of these programs you kind of want between a 1-to-1 and a 1 to what for,
Yep, we suggest a 1-to-2, 1-to-3 ratio for the programming piece.
yeah. So that would be coaches or volunteers interacting with each kid. So we don't expect all hands to be on deck every time, because I think we will have a very large volunteer effort help out with this. But we'll see how it goes. We may be giving certain people certain sports, just kind of depending on what that time of year looks like for them.
And what's our plan to like advertise this to the different homes throughout our area to make this success? Or
For
what is
sure,
your
we're
guys'
gonna
like-
hit up, obviously, all the school districts and any of the surrounding counties. That's gonna be a big one. I think Can Play already has a large presence in Iowa, very large Facebook following. And I think just word of mouth, local papers, we're gonna really push this hard.
Okay. Thank you,
We
two
will-
ladies.
We will support that as well on our social channel and as Chad said, so.
Chad, in your memo addressed to us, I have to say that the best looking thing on here is where it says staff is excited to enter into this program.
Absolutely.
So
We
that's
know this is a big void. We've been kind of searching for something or somebody to partner with. Obviously, we don't have the current staff training at this time to be able to go out and do this on our own. So having a partner like Can Play really pushes it across the finish line and allows us to bring this into our community.
All right, thank you. Any other questions for either? All right, I'm gonna look for a motion to approve the attached resolution approving the Can Play curriculum and brand licensing agreement.
So move.
Jason and I think Tom. Well, it's tough to catch you guys.
We all think alike.
All right, roll call vote, please.
Atherton?
Yes.
Schreck?
Yes.
Bauer?
Yes.
Seaman?
Yes.
Ordinaro?
Yes.
Resolution is approved.
Thank you, ladies, for coming and, or not coming, but for presenting this. It's nice to have the ability to have you out visually here to point this out to us, and it looks like it's really gonna be a great program for the city of Carroll and for the people here.
Thank you for believing in us, and we look forward to expanding in the area and bringing great things for your community.
All right, terrific. All right. Moving on to reports, City of Carroll. Renovations at Merchants Park project, change order number 1.
Back to me. All right, thanks, Mayor and Council. Another couple of things we've come across in the Merchants Park renovation project. Number 1 was the deletion of the coach's box. We just figured, while looking at it, a couple of issues kind of made us nervous about going forward with this part of the project. It is a very small part of this project. Number 2, again, that one's a credit back to the overall contract. And then the next one is the chain link fence. This would go between the dugout and the actual stands themselves, raising those to 7 feet because of the requirement of the protective netting company. So we need to raise them to 7 feet, otherwise we have a bar sitting there right around 6 feet, kind of just an obstacle in the way. So number 1 was just raising that, so it's just ease of use, comfortability getting in and out. The total change order is a net credit for $3,000.88. Does not impact any of the date or time period for the completion of the project. So if there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer. Otherwise, our recommendation is to approve the attached change order number 1 for Merchants Park in the credit amount of $3,088.
I don't have any questions, but I'll make one comment. I can totally see why you would why you had a concern over the concrete with the coach's box.
Sure.
It
We just think
makes
it's gonna be a
total sense.
headache to kind of take
Yeah,
care of basically after every rainstorm or every time Scott waters or field maintenance waters, so.
anything else? All right, I look for a motion to approve the credit and change order number 1 for the Merchants Park Improvement Project and the credit amount of $3,088.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Tom, JJ. Roll call vote, please.
Thornhill,
Yes.
Bauer,
Yes.
Shrek,
Yes.
Atherton.
Yes.
Seaman.
Yes.
Change order is approved.
All right, thank you very much. And committee reports, those are for information. We all have those available to us. Any comments from the mayor tonight? I have one, and that is that Aaron and I will be attending the Access Washington venture to Washington DC, which has been, is it an annual or biannual? I don't even know.
Annual.
It's been an annual trek out to Washington. We've gotten some really good results out of that. This is the book that it comes in, and there are numerous topics that we will be meeting with people there. And you can just look forward to an update after we get back. The meetings we will have will be on Wednesday and Thursday of this week in Washington DC, including with White House staff and
All 3 of our representatives,
all of them.
or
So,
both senators and our representative, I should
correct.
say.
So, I have no other comments. We'll just look forward to hearing how that goes for us, and I hope it goes well. Any comments from the city council? And from the city manager?
Yes, just to note, we're heading out tomorrow morning. Our flight leaves at 12:15. We'll get back Friday afternoon. 5:50, I think, is when we're supposed to get back in. So we'll be out of the office for the rest of this week. Also have been in contact with Stephanie Hausman about meeting regarding the 2080 agreement. She would like to sit down, have 2 council members and 2 supervisors meet to have a discussion. I've continued to press for what their plan, what their suggestion is, or what their changes to the 2080 are. I haven't gotten anything back other than, well, we'd consider a mile change or reduction all the way down to a quarter mile, which is what the state statute says. So, if any of you could shoot me an email if you'd be interested in one of those 2 positions, that would be great. If I get more than 2, then we'll have to come to a vote and decide at the next council meeting. and go from there.
I think it's crucial they put on paper what they're proposing versus you go into a room, you sit there and you try to work something out.
Right, right.
I will, if council's okay with that, that'll be something I send back to her, that we're more than willing to sit down and have a conversation. However, you need to put a proposal down on paper for us to look
Right.
at
Otherwise,
prior
it's-
to the meeting.
Otherwise, we're wasting our time. And I suggest you watch, it was August 5th, I believe, their meeting when they all discussed the 28E. And we need to understand that 28E agreement is about zoning in the 2-mile area. It's not about rec center fees. It's not about this or that
Taxes.
extraneous thing, taxes. It's about zoning. So everybody needs to understand, and in that meeting, Sarah Haberl pointed out that their zoning ordinance is almost exactly like ours, except for a couple differences that are very minor. In fact, we have utilized and modeled some of their zoning and adopted it. You've got to watch it, but Sarah outlined, went through, here's our zoning, the counties, here's the cities. It's almost exactly the same, but you need to hear it from her. She's way more knowledgeable, articulate, so, and just food for thought.
Yeah, I want you guys to also know that on 28E, that we are knowledgeable that this is a 50-50 deal. You know what I mean? This is a 50-50 deal that we do need to, both parties have to be somewhat happy in this deal. And so, I mean,
Right.
I want them to know that, like, yeah, we can't be in a deal just by ourselves. So, I mean, we need their input, our input, and hopefully we can come up with some type of solution that everybody is somewhat happy, I guess, as much as I'm sure somebody will not be happy, but there's got to be some kind of even median in between there. And so, so we look forward to what they send to us so that we can, take action on it.
So this is not a motion item, but we just want to make sure that we're
Yeah.
clear that what Aaron plans to write to.
Yep.
And I need 2 volunteers.
Right, and which it will be any of you guys, just send, we'll see how many are interested. All right, and that'll be by email to Aaron. Okay?
Oh, yeah, by the end of the week, thank you.
Okay.
Keeps me in line.
Next item is a closed session pursuant to Iowa Code Section 21.51C to discuss strategy with counsel in matters where the litigation is imminent, where its disclosure would be likely to prejudice or disadvantage the position of the governmental body in that litigation. So we look for a motion to enter into closed session.
So moved.
Understanding. Tom
Second.
and Jason seconded. Roll call vote, please.
Shrek? Yes. Atherton?
Yes.
Bauer?
Yes.
Seaman?
Yes.
Wardner?
Yes.